What's up everybody, Garrett back here, and I'm here to do a video today. What I want to talk about is something that I wanted to talk about for a while, something I wanted to showcase for a while, and that is my complete Vestron video collection. And what a better time to do it than now. We just got some news about Vestron video, about Lionsgate, on what's next for this line, or what's coming up for this line, and I do want to talk about that at the end of this video. So I'm going to do my best to go through these quickly and just showcase them, talk a little bit about the ones that I know a lot about. There's a couple in here I still haven't watched yet, I still have never seen, but I want to showcase them anyways. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments what you think about these ones. Is it something I should rush to check out? I just got so much stuff that I'm backed up on to watch, so I want to make sure I can either slide these right back into the mix or try to finish what I've got going on. So I'm going to go through each one of these titles. Let me know which ones you have, which ones you like, which ones you need. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about the news that we just got regarding Vestron and some of the titles and releases that they have coming out. All right, so what started the line here? Vestron Video is a boutique, small little series coming from Lionsgate. It's got a lot of these old school movies, horror movies, comedies, dramas. There's even a Western in here. So it's a whole mesh of stuff, but you saw that a lot in the 80s. Like Dirty Dancing was on Vestron VHS. So again, it just brings me back to being a kid and checking out those VHS tapes with the Vestron Video logo on the bottom. I absolutely love it. So for them to bring this line back into this format and add these kind of movies back in on Blu-ray, I'm super stoked about. I love this line. The price point is amazing. These things are like 14 bucks, 12 bucks. I mean, to get these kind of movies now at that price is just, it's not normal. So the fact that they're priced so well and they're done so well, I give props to Lionsgate, to the people who are involved with this. And I'm going to showcase them now. Again, I want to keep this quick because there are 31 to showcase here. So the first one in the line is one that really grabbed me because it is a movie from the 80s that I love. And is Chopping Mall. So you see that's got the nice slip cover. They all come with these slips. They are limited though, so you've got to be quick on getting these because I know a lot of people who are trying to complete this line going back and not be able to find the slip covers and stuff. I'm not a huge slip cover guy myself, but if I'm collecting a line that has slip covers, I want all of them. If I'm collecting just random 4Ks and sometimes they come with slips, sometimes they don't, then it doesn't really matter to me. But when it's part of a specific line that they do all have slip covers, I want them all to have slip covers to just look really nice and uniform on the shelf. So Chopping Mall, 80s kind of slasher-esque, robots in a mall. So really, really cool. All-star cast in this too. And what's nice is you see at the top, they have the little number 1. So that's what I like about this too. You can kind of catalog them by number. So it makes it just so much easier. Number 2 is another 80s one. This one was kind of a lost 80s slasher horror movie. There's a little comedic elements in here. And that is Blood Diner. So this is a wild and wacky type of movie. This is one that really needed this release. The only release I believe it had on DVD was during that time where they were putting out those like 6 packs or whatever it was there. Maybe it was 8 movies, 6 movies, but there was like a Walmart exclusive. I can remember when those came out. A lot of these that you're going to see here were inside those packs. And when those packs came out and something like Blood Diner was in there, everybody was going nuts to get those things. That's a whole nother story in itself. And I'd love to do a video on that in my Rad Memories series. So this is number 2 in the line. This is Blood Diner. As you can see, it's got that slip as well. Definitely a cool one to check out, especially if you haven't seen it. All right, number 3 is a double feature, a real cool double feature for another 80s horror collection, and that is the Waxwork collection. Waxwork 1, Waxwork 2. Very, very cool to get these. These are favorites of mine as well. Just so 80s, and that's what I really love about it, is great cast in these. This is definitely one that I would recommend. Now, as far as if they're available or not, I'm sure they probably still are, maybe not with the slip covers, but Waxwork, so coming out with those first 3 were bangers, and the 4th is no different. The only issue I have with the 4th one is I do prefer movies of a franchise to be by the same label, and I know that always can't happen. So to have, let's say, part 1 and 2 with Scream Factory lined up together, and then part 3 over here with Vestron, that isn't, for my OCD, is kind of annoying, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's a great movie. I'm so happy to have it on Blu-ray. and that is Return of the Living Dead 3. Now, the only reason I'm kind of okay with this is the fact that part 1 and 2 almost just work so well together because they're very similar. Same characters are in there, at least the same actors are in there. This one, it kind of takes it a little bit different than what we got with the first two, so I kind of get it is what it is. It's kind of a standalone thing, even though it is part 3 of a franchise. But yeah, this is Return of the Living Dead 3. You can see the number 3 on number 4 also on the top here on the spine, and you get the back there. All right, so number 5, as you can see, these first 5 is just straight 80s, early 90s horror. And that's no different here. And this was another one that was part of that 6-8 pack or whatever it was that Lionsgate put out that everybody was after, similar to, like I said, about Blood Diner. And this was Chud 2, Bud the Chud. Again, it was one of those things, again, like I said, Chud is with Arrow. The Chud 2 is with Vestron, so they kind of can't be housed next to each other on the shelf, which is a little bit of a bummer, but cool movie to have in this line. It's just one of those low-budget 80s movies that people seem to forget about. But yeah, Bud the Chud is number 5 in this new Vestron line. All right, so number 6 is actually one I haven't watched yet. I have never seen this movie. I knew I needed it because, again, I was collecting everything for Vestron, and that is The Lair of the White Worm. Now, this came out in 1988, so I'm very shocked that I never seen this movie at all until now because, again, looking at the cover, I can see myself not being drawn to this as a kid. It just wasn't really the style that I was looking for when I was getting these things at the video store. So for whatever reason, this passed me by. I don't know the status of this on DVD. I never owned it until now, but I haven't checked this one out yet. So let me know, is this a good one? I mean, I'm looking at the pictures in the back and it does look pretty neat. So I don't know why I never checked this one out. It says a hoot of a horror film from the director of Altered States and the creator of Dracula. So that's really, really cool. Hugh Grant is in this. Again, I have not checked this out, so I know nothing about this one. Let me know down below what you guys think of Lair of the White Worm. Number 7 is one that I have seen. I'm not the biggest fan of this movie, believe it or not. I don't know if it has a big following. This was kind of one in the line that I was like, okay. I had the DVD, and that is Randy Quaid and Parents. It's okay. I mean, it's not one I ever go back to be honest. So this did get that Vestron treatment. As you can see, it's number 7 in the line. And maybe this is one I have to go back and check out. It's been a long time. I probably haven't even watched this version. Let me see. Oh, it's still sealed. So this is still sealed. I have not watched this since DVD. I had the DVD of this one. I think Anchor Bay might have put it out. But yeah, I had the DVD. It's been a long time since I've seen this. Let me know down below. Is this one I should check out again? It's probably been about 20 years since I've seen this, and I've probably only seen it once. But last time I watched it, I don't remember liking it that much. But yeah, let me know about Parents. Number 8 was huge for me. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. This was a gateway horror movie for me, and I think a lot of other people, and that is The Gate. Look at this artwork, so good. I mean, every time The Gate is released, I'm getting it. I had it multiple times on DVD. I don't know if this had a Blu-ray. I'm trying to think. I remember that like blue cover. I don't know if that was just DVD or I had the Blu-ray as well, but I knew for a fact I needed to snag this thing. Was this the first time this hit Blu-ray? I can't remember, but The Gate is one of my favorite movies. I'm so happy to have it, and it was part of this line, and it is a banger for this line. This was a big get for them. I know Lionsgate had The Gate because I think that's what put out the last DVD and stuff that I had. But yeah, so good. I mean, it's got a lot of features on here as well, so very, very cool edition of The Gate. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you know, what about the 4Ks? When it comes, it comes. I mean, I would love a 4K of The Gate, sure, but I am not rushing at this point in my collecting career to have to jump to 4K with everything right away. So when it comes, it comes. I am happy with this release. I'm sure we're going to get a Gate 4K at some point, but I also know with these all being Blu-rays, people are going to ask about what I think about them getting released in 4K or not, whenever. All right, number 9. Number 9 on this list is a whole collection. So really, really cool to get these all together. and that is the Wishmaster series. Again, it's not my favorite series. I do love part 1. The rest, they kind of mix and match for me. I don't really remember which ones are which, but this was a series that I did have on DVD. So to get these all housed together was cool because I just had, like, I think a bunch of artisan DVDs. But to get them all housed together is really cool. And it goes to show that they can take a series like this or a collection like this and put them in these slim cases. Let's see how these are housed in there. I totally forget. And they're kind of all with a flapper. So, I mean, really, they are all in here. Is 4 mixed in with 3? Let me see how they're done. All 4 films. I assume it's probably part 3 and 4 are probably together on this. That's, I can assume. But yeah, all 4 Wishmasters in one place. Hey, I'll take it. Shelf saver. Very cool to fit into the line. And this isn't the last time we see something like this happen in this line. All right, we're at number 10. Now, this one I don't remember a lot about. I have seen this. I had the DVD of this. But this is one that's been a long time since I've seen it. And in my head, I could be thinking about different movies. But let me know what you guys think of this one. The Unholy. This one, again, like I said, I do not remember it. As you can see, it's still sealed in here. So I definitely haven't watched this version of this movie. But I did have, I believe I had the DVD. This could have been part of that 6-pack or Lionsgate pack that came out. And that's where I had it. So I really don't remember a lot about this one. Let me know down below about The Unholy. It came out in 1988 as well. Same with Lair of the White Worm. 2 movies that just kind of passed me by. But yeah, let me know. I'm looking at the back and it kind of looks familiar, but I can't remember everything about it. But yeah, this is number 10 in the Vestron Collector Series. All right, number 11, we go back to the collections, which is, again, huge because I didn't have every single one of these. I only had, I think, the first one, maybe the second on DVD, and that is the Warlock collection. So, again, nice artwork here. As you can see, some of these are poster art, some of these are commissioned art. That's kind of a little bit random and depends, but you get all 3 Warlock films on here, which I think is really, really cool to have them all together. I do not know if I've watched the first, the second, and third one at all, but I do like the first one a lot, and rest in peace as well. But man, so very cool to have this in the line because, again, like I said, it was something to have these all together that, hey, let's throw it in this line, let's get these all housed together, and you get a complete collection. So very happy to have the Warlock part of this Vestron line. Now, number 12 is another one that was part of those Lionsgate 6 movie packs. This was one people, I'm sure, were clamoring for because it's pretty well liked. And that is Slaughter High from the 80s slasher film, like a teen slasher, you know, you get all the time. Like, it just so 80s. It fits so 80s. I recommend this one. It was very cool to see this get a release. It's number 12 in the Vestron line. Now, number 13 is another one that I am not familiar with. I don't know if I've ever seen this one. And it's got Julian Sands in it again. And that is Gothic. I'm starting to see, is it still sealed? Yeah, it's still sealed in here. So I have not watched this yet. I don't know why, but let me know. This is a 1986 movie. I do believe this, I don't know if it had a DVD. At least I didn't own it. But for some reason, I almost feel like I remember the VHS of this. And maybe it was Vestron that had it back then. But let me know about Gothic and what you guys think of this one, because this is definitely one I got to check out. I do have to make sure to really slam into these as well, because I love this line so much and I should really know every one of these movies. So again, Gothic is one I have not checked out, but I'm happy to have it in here because this is one that could have easily flown under the radar for people, and it's something that maybe is hard to get now because it's not a big name movie like things like The Gate or Waxwork or anything like that. So the Gothic, it comes in at number 13. All right, number 14 is one I'm actually a huge fan of, and it is Class of 1999, which is a real cool movie. This is supposedly a sequel to Class of 1984, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's very different than Class of 84, but I guess this is considered the sequel. And there's also a sequel to this, Class of 1999 Part 2, which I don't own. I don't think I've ever seen it. I don't own it. I would love to get my hands on it. But yeah, it's kind of the unofficial sequel to 84, which is interesting. But very, very cool movie. If you guys have not seen Class of 99, I highly, highly recommend it. Very, very cool movie. I'm a big fan of like movies, thrillers, action, horror movies that take places in like schools and stuff like that. So this is definitely a cool one when you got the teachers and the students going at it, and it's not all that it seems. So definitely check out Class of 99 if you haven't, because it's highly recommended. And number 15 is one that I absolutely love as well. Unfortunately, it's one, like I said, I don't like when I have to split the franchise. They've got Arrow's got the first two. Part 3 is on Vestron, so I don't really like that, but I'm happy to have it on Blu-ray, and that is Beyond Reanimator. I love the Reanimator franchise. Absolutely love it. I love all 3. This is the weakest of the 3, in my opinion, but it would have been nice to have these housed together with the other 2. And maybe get like a nice big box from Arrow or something like that. But Beyond Reanimator, this was one that came out way later. I think this was like a 2000s, early 2000s movie. But it takes place in like a prison. But highly recommend it. I mean, Herbert West, I can't say enough. I'm actually a huge fan of Jeffrey Combs. So whatever he's in, I usually will give it a watch. So Beyond Reanimator is number 15 in the Vestron line. All right, we're about halfway there, gang. We're about halfway there. We're moving on to 16. And speaking of Jeffrey Combs, he is back with the Vestron line for Dagon, which is another cool movie if you guys haven't seen it. It's another Stuart Gordon movie. It's another Lovecraft tale, and Jeffrey Combs stars in it. So again, this is a little bit different than like Reanimator and stuff, but like I said, I'm a huge Jeffrey Combs fan. I like Dagon a lot. I don't think it's as great as a lot of other things like From Beyond or Reanimator. It's not to that caliber, but I do know a lot of people do like Dagon, and this is number 16 in the Vestron series. And number 17 is a big heavy hitter. I think when this came out, people are super excited that it got its Blu-ray debut, and that is Maximum Overdrive. So this is a huge one. This is a Stephen King adaptation. Super excited to get this. It's got this real cool artwork on the front. It's kind of a take on the original poster art, but a little bit different. And on the bottom, it says like featuring music by AC/DC. All right, so number 18 in the line is David Cronenberg's Shivers from 1975. Let me see. 75. So Shivers is a pretty cool movie. It's got to do with almost like these slug type things, and it's really, really neat. I've always been a fan of this one. The DVD was actually pretty rare for a while, so when this came out on Blu-ray, I think people were really excited. I love the artwork here on the front. I think that's really, really cool. So Shivers is number 18. I think this is one that people really, really enjoy. So guys, make sure to check this one out if you haven't. Number 19 is a little bit off the horror path here, but it's kind of got a little bit of horror elements to it. You could say it was a little bit of a gateway movie for a little kid to get into scary movies. It was for me, and a huge fan of this movie. One of my all-time favorites, and that is Little Monsters with Fred Savage, Howie Mandel. I mean, what an all-star cast, and look at the artwork here. I really, really love this commissioned artwork. The classic artwork is okay. It's not the greatest. It's pretty decent. I have a one-sheet poster here in my room signed up. I like it, but I really do like the way this looks. It really brings out the fun in this movie. So I'm a big Fred Savage fan. We joke about him all the time on the Radpack podcast, but he was just really everything at this time. So 1989, this is a classic to me. If you have not seen Little Monsters, I highly, highly recommend it. Everybody should check it out. It's such a cool, fun movie. Number 20 is another great 80s horror movie that I absolutely love. If you love cars, you're going to love The Wraith. I mean, look at that. How 80s does that cover look right there? 1986, you've got some big names in here, like Charlie Sheen is in this movie, Sherilyn Fenn, Randy Quaid. Now, again, you get the Blu-ray here. This is number 20 in the Vestron line. That's crazy because there's only been about 31 titles released, and I feel like this came out a real long time ago. So the one thing I like about Vestron too is they don't load you up. There's only 30 of these. I think this line is a couple of years old. So very, very cool that they're putting out like maybe one a quarter or something like that. It's just manageable at nice prices. They're not dumping 4 titles at you every month. I respect that. I like it. They come with features. They come with the slips. And for the price point, I just love this line. And to get something like The Wraith in there, it makes it even better. Number 21, I haven't checked out this edition yet, but I know the movie. It is Sundown. I think this was that Bruce Campbell joint. Yeah, so I had this on DVD, and it's okay. I mean, it's a vampire movie. It's all right. It's got a little comedic elements to it. I haven't checked out this version yet. As you can see, it's still sealed, but I have seen this movie multiple times, and it's pretty good. I will say, you know, when I look at this and I'm like, oh, does this make sense for Vestron? I don't know. I don't think it did too much, but at the same time, it's all right. It's one, again, it's worth checking out. I do have to give this Blu-ray a check, though, because, again, I haven't. I'm sure it looks fantastic. I'm sure it's the best it's ever looked, but it was a movie that came out in, you know, the 90s, I think early 90s, but yeah, it's not one many people talk about. So Sundown was kind of, to me, a little bit of a random title to get put into here, but, again, fun nonetheless. Now, again, this was another one that was a little bit random for this line, in my opinion. It's a bad movie. It's actually a good movie, but it's old. It's from the 60s. And if you notice, a lot of these movies are from, like, late 70s all the way up to, like, the 90s. I think there might have been a movie that was in the 2000s in here. Yeah, Beyond Reanimated, I think it was, like, 2001 or 2003 or something. But this is an early movie, and that's Dementia 13. Francis Ford Coppola, Dimension 13. Again, this was a little bit of a random one for me in this line, but cool nonetheless. It doesn't really have many features on it. It was just kind of thrown out there that I don't know I owned on DVD. I don't think I'd ever owned this before here. So it was cool to finally get this thing in my collection, but to me, it just kind of stood out a little bit for what we were used to getting with this line. So between Sundown and this, it just kind of felt a little bit different, and that's the same, in my opinion, for the next one. And number 23 is Steel Dawn. Checking that out. Again, this is one that I haven't seen in a long time. I don't think I've even watched this version yet. No, I haven't. It's still sealed. I've seen this movie, Patrick Swayze. Again, to me, this was just one of those movies that, it's a cool movie. It's from 87, but it just seemed a little bit different than what they were normally putting out around this line. But definitely one I'm going to go back and check out. I do like these type of kind of 80s medieval-esque post-apocalyptic movies, so I will go back and check this out. It's been a long time since I've seen this, but yeah, this is number 23 in the Vestron line. Now, 24 is one that people are pretty excited about. It's not the greatest sequel at all. It's not. It's actually the worst of the bunch. And it was kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, Scream Factory's got part 1 and 2. This is going to give us part 3. Now I've got to keep them separated. Kind of annoying, but again, it's a big franchise. We got Candyman 3, Day of the Dead, and this was a later entry. So I think this came out in like the late 90s, I believe. Let me see if it says on here. Yeah, 1999. So we did get Candyman 3. Again, it's not my favorite of the bunch. I actually like 1 and 2. This is meh. But, again, it's cool to complete the collection on Blu-ray, and here's part 3 in the Vestron line. All right, now this is one that I was stoked to get. When I heard this was announced, I was excited. I just love this movie. Again, this is one that I think a lot of people could be hot or cold on. This is Corey Haim, Corey Feldman in Dream a Little Dream with Meredith Salinger. This was a favorite of mine growing up. Again, I'm a huge fan of the Coreys. This was Corey Feldman's big role here to be the lead. Again, I think it's the weaker of some of their movies that they're with together from the 80s. If you guys want to go check out, we just ranked all the Corey Haim movies from the 80s in a video. So that's probably like a couple videos deep into my live section. So go check that out as we rank all of Corey Haim's movies from the 1980s. And this was included because this came out in 1989. And when they announced this movie, I was just stoked for it because, and look at the cover art here. That's really cool too. You got Meredith Salinger, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim. There's a little bit of a hiccup on the back here. They added some different screenshots from different movies here, which is kind of a mess up, but it is what it is. This is a real cool movie, and I'm glad Vestron threw it in their line because it's cool to see this getting a nice Blu-ray with the slip and all that other stuff. So this is number 25 in the line. Now here's another one that I have not watched yet. I've never seen this movie. It looks like a Western. It did seem very random for this series, this line, which I do think a lot of these few that we just talked about did feel a little bit different than what we were used to getting. And that is Extreme Prejudice with Nick Nolte. And I'm sure people are going to probably tell me how great this is, and I'm sure it is a good movie. I just haven't had a chance to check this one out yet. So let me know down below, Extreme Prejudice, if this is a favorite of yours. I think I've actually heard a couple people say this is their favorite release Vestron has done, which is incredible. I'm not bagging on any of these movies. I've never seen this, so I have nothing to say about it. But, you know, I'm very picky when it comes to Westerns, so it's not one I rushed to grab and then was like, oh, I'm going to put this in right away. It's still one of those ones that's on my to-watch lists, but I just haven't got there yet. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of this one, and I'm going to see if I can bump it to the top of my list. Now, number 27 is one I've seen before. I've had this on DVD. This was also part of that pack, like I said, with the 6 to 8 movies. I can't remember how many there were, but this is Earth Girls Are Easy. So you get Jim Carrey joint here, an early Jim Carrey joint. Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis. So they're back together again for this one. This has always been one that I found really fun. So when they announced this, I was all in. And the artwork on this is really nice. This didn't have the greatest artwork on the original poster, but this is a real cool commission piece there. I really like that. And this is number 27 in the line. So these next two I'm going to talk about are actually little collections, which again is going back to the format they did with things like Wishmaster, Waxwork, Warlock. So very cool that they're doing this. And this was one that I was stoked about. I think a lot of people were too, to get Blu-ray treatments of these movies. And again, as much as these three don't really have to, are not with the other two that Scream Factory has, I'm cool with that because again, they are different, but they do try to keep them somewhat connected to those two. And that is the Silent Night, Deadly Night collection. So it just being Christmas, I kind of went through these again like I do every year. And another video, if you check out my other channel, the Radpack Pod on YouTube, we just went through our top 5 favorite Christmas movies. And part 5, The Toy Maker, for me, was actually on there. I love that movie. It's so cheesy. It's so fun. But yeah, the Silent Night, Deadly Night sequels are pretty damn good. They don't get talked about a lot. Being this far into the franchise, people are like, it's probably just junk. I actually like these 3 movies a lot. So this is one I highly recommend to get all 3 of these in here on Blu-ray. Was a win. Now the next one too is one that a lot of people were kind of clamoring for. I had these on DVD, but they were long out of print. And that's the Dentist collection. So as you can see, very cool here. Very cool artwork. Like I said, some of the commissioned art that they're doing for these is really nice. So the Dentist collection, this is definitely one I would check out. These movies are both really fun. So I would definitely check these out. These are like those, you know, when Dr. Giggles came out, like those 90s kind of horror movies. It feels very 90s, but super fun. I'm glad they got this in their line. All right, this next one is kind of rounding out. We've got number 30 in this line, and this was a fun movie from the 80s. I just love these kind of movies. It's like on the verge of like horror comedy, as you would see with things like Once Bitten, and that is My Best Friend is a Vampire. Very cool flick. I mean, what a cast in this. This is a cool commissioned artwork here. I highly recommend this one. I know a lot of people are kind of hot and cold on this movie, but I think this is just a real fun, not talked about kind of horror comedy. So definitely one of those ones I think people have to check out if they've kind of passed on this one, but it's definitely a fun watch. All right, and the last one is number 31, a Jamie Lee Curtis movie that people were excited to get on Blu-ray, and that is Blue Steel. She plays a cop. Very cool movie, an action thriller movie. It's kind of a different type of genre that they put into this line, but I like it. I like these kind of action, these thrillers from the 90s and stuff. I would love to see more of these put into the line. So that is the newest one for the Vestron series, is the Blue Steel Blu-ray with Jamie Lee Curtis. Whew. All right, gang, that is the complete collection of Vestron collector's series from Lionsgate. I have all of them right now, and like I said, they're very easy once you have all the backstock to keep up with. The prices are right. They don't release a ton of them at once, so I'm sure as long as they keep doing these, I'll be kind of continuing this line. Now, that brings me to the next set of news that I want to talk about regarding this line and the future of this line. Now, hopefully, the future of this line is they continue to put these out. My only concern is if they decide to jump to 4K, which I heard is a possibility that they want to start doing 4Ks, hey, I'm cool with that, but just throw it inside this exact style slipcover and just have this here black, and that's it. Don't add an extra banner. Don't do anything else. Don't change the spines. Like, keep it here. Just add the 4K treatment to it if that's what we're going to do. Again, my only issue now is if they go back and they start doing all of these again in 4K. I really am not interested in starting this line over again. I'm really not. Now, is there a couple movies in here I'd grab on 4K? Sure, I would grab The Gate. But if they're going to do that, I would say step away from the Vestron series with that. Like maybe make The Gate a standalone steelbook with a clear slip from Lionsgate. Like don't make it part of this line. That's what I would do if you're going to re-release a lot of these things. And we're starting to see that happen now with Scream Factory's done the same thing. They're re-releasing or releasing things in steelbooks now and slipcovers, so you can kind of choose which ones you want. Again, to me as a collector, that just kind of becomes more of a nuisance because I'm collecting one way. I don't want to feel the urge to have to buy a nice steelbook, and you don't have to do anything, but being a collector, you're always itching to maybe, oh, that's such a nice piece of art. I would love to have that, but you've got to stay strong when it comes to stuff like this, and it seems like Lionsgate's going to take that route because we did already see a steelbook Blu-ray of Maximum Overdrive, which is the exact same thing you got here, except now you're in a steelbook with commissioned artwork, which personally, I didn't get it. I thought the artwork looked terrible personally on that, so I stayed away from it, thinking it was just some kind of one-off. But we did just get some news that Little Monsters is going to be coming out on a steelbook as well. If that was a 4K steelbook with that artwork, the artwork I will say is really nice on that. I would have jumped on it. But it seems like it's the exact same edition we're getting here, just in a steelbook format instead of a slipcover. I don't know. I'm probably going to pass on it because I don't want to start doing that. I've got all these. I don't want to go down that route. I think they're going to be $19.99. These are like $12 to $14.99. They also announced Shivers is coming out as well, which again, I showcased to you. It's going to be the same edition of Shivers. Now you're going to get it in a steelbook with different artwork. I can see more people being interested in those steelbooks, those steelbook collectors. I would say, hey, if you missed out on these and you want to start a new collection, by all means, go to the steelbook route. But as somebody who's been collecting these since the beginning, like I say with Scream Factory, when things are re-released with just different artwork and stuff, it's exhausting, I guess, as a collector. So what's going on with this line? Are we going to continue this line? Are we going to move just to steelbooks? I don't know. I have faith that this line is going to continue. If they decide to go to 4K, I'm going to say either continue the way things are with these new movies coming out in 4K instead of Blu-ray. If you're going to re-release these movies on 4K, keep them out of the Vestron line. But now here comes the news about another one that was just announced, and that is Kickboxer. Now, I got word that Kickboxer was coming out, and I also got word that it could have been a Blu-ray or a 4K or something like that. I didn't know for sure what was happening, but my assumption was it was probably going to be part of the Vestron line. Well, we just got announced today that Walmart is going to have an exclusive Kickboxer Blu-ray from Lionsgate. Now, everybody's kind of up in arms because they announced it along with Little Monsters, along with Shivers. And I was one of those people that was like, I hope this gets a standard slipcover edition to go with this line instead of only having access to a steelbook, right? Because again, that's going to throw the aesthetic of this collection off. But before I say things, I like to do some research. Now, I don't know for a fact if this is going to even be a part of the Vestron line. If you take a look at the spine of the steelbook, it says Lionsgate on the bottom. If you look at the spine of the steelbooks for Little Monsters and Shivers, it says Vestron, and then underneath it says Lionsgate. So that Vestron logo is not on the Kickboxer steelbook, which to me is a relief, to be quite honest with you, because if they release it just on steelbook, maybe have a nice clear slip like Lionsgate has been known to do, make this a sweet addition, cool. I don't think Kickboxer needs to be part of this line. If it comes out in 4K or Blu-ray, put it on steelbook, just make it a standalone Lionsgate release. That's what I would do. But I don't think that people realize that, hey, maybe it's not part of the Vestron line, because people keep asking, where's the standard edition? Where's the slip? And, that was a concern of mine too, but we haven't been confirmed that this is even part of the Vestron line to really get that crazy over. So I'm not stressed about it. If it's only steelbook and it's a Lionsgate steelbook, hell, I'm excited as hell for Kickboxer. I love that movie. But it remains to be seen what's going to go on with this line. I have a feeling they know their audience. I know people that are working on some of these titles that know their audience, and they know that us collectors like to have things aesthetically when it comes to these kind of collections. And I'm hoping that's what happens because, like I said, they've got features, the price points are good, they match on the shelf, they've got numbers on the spine, it just works for me. So guys, let me know down below, what are your thoughts on this line in general? Let me know what your thoughts are on these Steelbook announcements. Is this something you're gonna double dip with? Is this just a way for you to start this collection? Maybe you missed out on all these titles. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on all this news regarding Vestron and Lionsgate. All right, gang, thank you for checking this out. This was a little bit of a long one, but I wanted to showcase this whole collection. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but today just seemed like the right day to do it. Keep your eye on the channel because we got a lot of things coming. This is Garrett at Born to Be Rad, and like always, stay